All of you for the lab session. As I mentioned in the mail, we will look at the problem. I will explain you something missing in the yesterday's implementation. I will show you where it is likely to fail. I want you to fix it as a part of this lab problem and give a solution by tomorrow 5 p.m. Okay, so tomorrow due date and time for the lab 9 problems 1 and 2 is tomorrow 5 p.m. Okay, and you can either fix the problem or you can submit it without fixing the problem also, no problem. Submit, you can also submit without fixing the issue in the current implementation. I plan to use tomorrow's class maybe for first few minutes explaining you the solution and what was missing in the yesterday's solution and how to fix it. It's one way of fixing it that I am going to explain, and then we can carry on with the next topic of the for our discussion. Okay, so before I start talking about the problem for the lab today, is there any doubt that you want me to explain the solutions that we discussed yesterday? Anything you want me to explain again? You have any doubts on yesterday's problems, what we solved? Do you want to bring up? Silence means all of you have understood, I suppose, or you are thinking that you will understand it now. I don't know. It's okay. So let us discuss. Before I come to the problem of lab, maybe you can maybe going through that. I will tell you what are the issues that we can see in the yesterday's solution. Okay, so what I have done, I have taken the same file, though I have renamed it as updated. I have not updated it yet. Okay, I want to do it in front of you so that you know where I am making changes. This is the file we ran yesterday. Okay, the finally what I have submitted in the LMS also and what I explained yesterday. So we saw a couple of maybe 4 solutions, I think, of implementing an iterable objects. I am going to name them as method 1 and 2 and 3 so that you know how to relate it with the lab problems. Okay, now let me start with the 1. See, this is one of the solutions we saw with iter and next and having our own data list and then going through the pop method. Okay, getting the items to using the pop method, which is not even closer to what we want because it is giving us in the reverse order, and we need to look for this none type in our iterator in the for loop, which is not close to what we have seen in using the built-in iterators of Python. So we don't want this solution for sure. Then I showed you another solution where we add an index to it, and then we compare the index with the length of the data list and give out the data. And again, if the data is exhausted, then we give a none type. We need to look for that in our for loop. Again, this solution is at least giving us the items in the order in which we have added them, but it's still not solving our problem of break, looking for the none type. Okay, so I'm not going to consider this solution also for the problems that you are likely to solve today. So I am naming this method as method 1, which is using the data list, of course, and then an index, then checking the length for giving you the data, and then raising a stop iteration exception whenever the data is exhausted. So as I mentioned, where if this our iterator, that is the next method, can raise an exception that too of this type, stop iteration, then this fellow who is looking into your object waiting for the item will stop the iteration. Okay, they have a protocol understanding that if the iterator object raises this exception, then it will terminate the loop gracefully and come out. So we don't need to check for the none type here, because the iterator object is giving the notification to the outside world that no, please stop the iteration, I don't have data to give you. So this is one of the good method of implementation. Okay, but it has some problem that we are to add the index, and then we are doing the job of going through it like this. Okay, so this is one way of implementing it. So this is one, I'm going to call it as a method 1. Then method 2 also doesn't need a, in the for loop there it is not going to check for the none type, so it's also close to what we see normally. But here what we have done is we have used the next, and then we have created a iterator, and then we are using the next on the iterator, because we know that a list has a built-in iterator support, so we can use that, and we don't need to do the, anyway we are using this next and other things, but we are not using the yield. Okay, so maybe I will remove this, we are not using this. Okay, so now what is happening is we are using the iterator of the built-in data type list to go over it, and this iterator is going to give, when it exhausts the list, it is going to give an exception, right? Which is a stop iteration exception. But we are not handling it, we are catching it here and then raising it again back. Now why are we doing it? Because we need to pass it back to the for loop, which is this is guy is actually calling our iterator, so it should be notified that iteration is over. Now it has happened inside the data list that we are carrying it, bringing it from there. Whenever this guy gives us the exception, we are again taking it and rising it up, so that for loop here knows that there is a iteration, stop iteration exception has happened, and it has to stop the for loop and come out gracefully. So that is also happening, we saw the printing out happening properly. Okay, fine. Now another implementation I showed you, which is I am calling it as a method 3, wherein we are not even using the next. Now what is the difference between the previous implementation and this implementation? Here I want to ask you a question, whether is it actually raising the exception or not. In our case, in this case, is the exception getting generated or not? Okay, if any one of you can answer it, I will take it. In this case, are we allowing the exception to happen or not, the stop iteration exception to happen or not? That's the question I have. Yes or no?
No, sir.
Who is that?
Mukesh.
Mukesh, very good. Okay, how would you, if I have to ask you, justify your statement, how would you prove it?
So basically, the next statement, like yield keyword, uh, working on the next function. So it looking the next element, but we are checking the length here. So it not go to the last element. It is less than or less than it equals to less than length.
Very good, very good, very good. So it is not going to allow this, though this iterator is being called every time, we are not going to call it additional one more step when there is no data. It is like we are not allowing it to say no, I don't have data. We are not even we are checking it before that happens, we are stopping it. Very good. So now my question is, how this will come out? Okay, how is it coming out? The thing is, we terminate this function, okay, where this iter is terminated, because it is going to be returning out, it's not going to go into the yield state, so we are not going to keep it in a intermediate state once the data is exhausted and it comes out here. Okay, Now I will ask you, maybe if I do this again, suppose, okay, maybe if you have taken the code from me, you can also try it out. Okay, if I am just on the same object, I am calling this again. Maybe I will call it as A, I will call this as B, so that we know that there's two more. We are calling it again. What do you think will happen before I run it? Will it give me all the data, or do you think it will not give me? Okay, now let me run it. Where it has happened? Line 282. Here, this statement 282, 4A has completed, okay? 4A has completed gracefully. Then when I call again iterator of this, the same iterator, I call it, it is going to call me this, call this iterator, and then there is a exception. Now, do you understand why it is happening? Anybody wants to explain or make a guess what may be happening here? Let me explain again. See, Mukesh,
I think
yeah, go ahead, Mukesh.
I think, sir, the iterator already reached the its end point, and then we are try to get again, then raise the error. So while loop it is not going to like while loop. So basically, I think.
Okay, let me ask a question now. You are close to the answer. Do you think it is not coming here? If it is not coming here, this size exception wouldn't have happened, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So see the sprint. When I called again after this 4A44 is done, I have printed this. It while loop got over, and then yield did not keep the state. It returned. This function completely returned, and this guy came out. Anyway, this protocol, the iterator protocol is implemented such that even if you don't receive a stop iteration exception, since next is not called yet, it was in the iter only, it is, I think, exiting. Okay, and then we are calling again. Now when we are calling again, it is going to enter the iter again, and the length is made 0. So while loop is satisfying the condition, the length is now 0 compared to the length. It goes with the hope that I have the data in the iterator, which is the data iterator, right? Now, this data iterator is the same instance of what was created earlier for this iter. Okay, even before that I have created it here, right, on init. When I initialize the method or object, sorry, when I created the object, I have created the iterator, which is still alive, and I have not exhausted or deleted that. So this guy, the iterator, is in the state of maintaining the information that 4 items have been removed, and then it is yet to be called. It is not yet called, so it is waiting. Okay, so when I come here again for the second loop, I am calling the same iterator, expecting that it is having a data, and then this iterator now says, no, sorry, I don't have. Okay, already you have taken me last data 44, and you are calling me and asking me to give one more data, which I don't. So it is going to raise an exception. Now this exception is not caught anywhere. I have not put any try or anything, so it is coming out, and it is giving here. Okay, it is not even coming here, it is giving here. That's why 282 is not able to handle it. But this guy, if it comes out of this, it will be able to handle outside, but here it is not able to handle it. That's why it is giving you 282 itself the exception, because this function is not meant to handle that exception, and there is no way of passing it out by raising it again, which we did earlier. See, earlier we actually catch it here and then raise it properly to the caller. Here we are not even passing it across. It is, the exception is here. It is supposed to be handled by this method, which is not equipped to handle it because it is not within the try block. So it is breaking out here, and then it says that no, this exception has it has stopped here. Okay, so it has exactly stopped. It is not even executing this. It has stopped here. Is it clear? I don't know. My explanation, is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now, my suggestion or my request is for you to fix it. Okay. You are free to change the code. Okay. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I am sure many of you or some of, all of you are maybe having some ideas. I'm not expecting you to change the structure of this code. There is nothing wrong. If you want to do it better than this, it's okay. But what I am telling you is this structure is not a problem, but something has to be done. Some way of handling this has to be done, that when I call again in a normal iterator, in a linked list iterator, it is going to work. It is supposed to work again. I want you to make this invocation 4b also to work seamlessly, okay, to print these values. Okay, so how you do it, that's a problem for the lab. Okay, this is one issue which is to be handled in our implementation. I hope this is clear. Now I will show you, maybe I need to comment of this, okay, so that the below code, I am going to share this code with you. Below code is going to raise an exception, raise an stop iteration exception. Fix this problem in the implementation above the class, so that the next iteration, next for loop, the below for loop works. Okay, that's one problem to be fixed. Now I'll tell you one more issue is there, similar issue here. Okay, let me show you. I'll do the same thing here. Copy. I call it as A. I call this as a B. Okay, I will run it. Boom. Now, where it has happened? Line 300. Okay, sorry, I should no. Let me see whether there was a problem here or not. I will check it. I think so. Okay. I'll show you 3A. Okay, 3A worked fine. Okay, and then this was called and no item was there, so it came out. Now, what is happening in 3B? 3B is not printing me the data. Okay, maybe I will put another print here. I'm going to call my iter obj3 again. Okay, so I'm just trying to highlight that there is a problem. Okay, it's not that exception did not come, but even the item did not come. Okay, I wanted to get the item again. What is the wrong? Okay, I want to again, like any list, you can do it multiple times, right? I'm not able to do it here. It says that it comes out. Okay, now can you, by looking at this implementation, give a reason for this behavior? It is here only, the problem is here. Okay, can some of you, one of you, tell me why when I do this I am getting this, not an items, not the items? Anybody? Okay, let us try to understand what is happening here. In the first iteration, 31, no, first time I'm calling it, I have created the object, the iterator has been created. Okay, iterator has been created and it is fresh. Remember one thing about the iterators. The iterator object, when you create it, it is first time it is created in the heap and it is allocated stack in the heap and it is ready to be called. Okay, and once I start using it, it starts maintaining the state inside. Remember, it starts maintaining the state inside because effectively it is going to be a generator inside which is going to have some yield, and then it is going to maintain the state because it is supposed to be used repeatedly when it maintained the previous state of what, how many times it was called. Since I am creating the object for the first time, the iterator is created for the first time, and I go through this for loop once, I am able to get the items which are there. Now, in this iteration, it calls again the next when it doesn't even know whether data is entered or not. It goes there, and this guy is going to tell me that I don't have the data. How it is going to communicate? If some child is getting, if it is hungry, it is going to cry to indicate that I am hungry. So our iterator has no other mechanism to inform the caller that I don't have data, except that it doesn't give the data. Then you don't know, none type it gives, but that is not a best way of doing it. So it is raising an exception. Whenever you call the iterator with the next asking for a data, and if it doesn't have, it is going to raise an exception. So here, once it raised an exception, when I exceeded the limit, again I called this next entered and it raised an exception, and I caught the exception, I came out of the for loop. But I did not do anything to fix the exception because it is in the state that it is exhausted the data in the iterator. Fine. Now what I am doing, I am using the same object. Okay, I'm not creating it again. Remember, I'm not creating it again. When I create the object again, it is going to create the iterator again. Init is going to be called and this is going to be overwritten. New object is going to be created. Now I am not creating a new object. It is the existing object. I am trying to again iterate over. Now when I do this, it is not, it is what is the first time. Well, see, one thing is this for loop is the first time, and it is going to use this object to call the iterator. So it is going to follow the protocol. So it is going to call the iter. In iter, I am doing nothing other than printing something. Okay. Then what I do, I call the next. Now you are not calling the next, but this for loop is going to make sure that next is called. Then when the next is called, it is going to come inside and it is going to call this next on the same iterator object, which has been created during the object creation. So this object has already exhausted the data. So when I call the next time in the next for loop, again it is going to give me the same state, saying that it is printing it, we are going in, but it is going to raise an exception, it is going to give an exception, and this for loop says, oh okay, it comes out. Okay, it is not even going once into the list, into the for loop. Okay, that's why you are not getting the 3b item printed here. It is just coming out of the for loop immediately. Is the explanation that I gave just now clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Uh, I don't know about the rest of the class, but one person says it is clear. Now, what I want you to do, fix this problem also. Okay. You may have to do it. I'm now little bit giving you the clue. You may have to do it within the class. I will not tell you where you should do, what you should do. And one more thing is, whatever is being done here is there is nothing wrong, but you need to take care of this. When I am calling it again, okay, you have to fix it somehow. Okay, and the clue is here. Clue is here. That's all I will tell. You do something to fix this problem. Do something to fix this problem as well, and the solution is within this. That much I can give you a clue. There's nothing you need to do there or add any function. I'm not going to ask you to add a next also to solve the problem. No, you may have any number of solution, but I'm telling you what the solution, the simplest solution would be to fix it within this. Okay, but before I go into the problem description, I want to ask you one question, whether you guys are aware of a syntax in our Python while condition colon I don't know whether I talked about this very interesting feature that they have given. Do you know this?
No, sir.
Oh, okay. So Python has not only if, else, which all the languages give. I'm not sure about other Haskell and other languages, but okay, at least C++ and Python, Java, everybody gives you this if-else condition. But this Python has this while else also. That means when this condition is true, the control is going here. What if when this condition becomes false? Okay, in normal case, we will not be able to catch that thing. We normally do when you don't, suppose I have a while something, okay, then we come here and then do something, because this we have come here for the reason that maybe the while loop condition is over, all the things, whatever conditions, the number of times it wanted to do, it is over, and then it comes out, right? But it comes here, it is like a generic loop, the generic control. If suppose you want to do something specifically when this condition becomes false, I want to do something before I continue with my execution, you can do by doing a else condition. Okay, so maybe to explain that here, while okay, let us do that. Let us write something, condition true, I think my code is correct. Do I do big false or small false? Big only, right? Okay. Do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
So this is what happens when this condition becomes true. It executes this and comes out to you. Okay. So I am just giving you this because you are supposed to be aware of it in case you need to do something here. Okay. I think I have given you the clue. Okay, so that's why I thought you should know this if you need to fix that problem. If you don't know, you will be wondering what to do. Okay, again, you will be checking. Okay, in case if this is not provided by Python, see, that's a beauty of Python. Okay, I appreciate some of the features of Python. If it was not done, what you would have done if you want to do something of the while loop, maybe when you come here, you can immediately know that, okay, either it went inside while loop for the few times and then came out, or maybe directly you may have to do something. Okay, but else condition makes your make your things clear that you are doing something whenever it is exiting for the first time of the while loop. Do something. Okay, so it's a beautiful feature which is actually helpful here. Okay, to fix this issue. So you please I added this so that you know that there is a method. Sorry, there's a feature Python supports. Okay, fine. Now I am going to explain you the problem that you are supposed to solve because there are no questions. I want you to submit it by tomorrow 5 p.m. so that I can share the solution by 9 p.m. when we meet. I'm sure you have classes starting from 5, so I thought I should not give you a deadline during the class time, which is not fair for the other professors. So that's why I'm giving you before the classes start. Please try to finish it.
Sir?
Yeah.
Sir, can you please give some more time? Actually, we have a project submission also tomorrow, so it will be a little problematic.
Okay. So when do you want it? When should I make it? What is the date? Okay. Shall we? Friday is okay. I don't want to spoil your Saturday. Friday evening is okay, or I am fine. I am not going to evaluate immediately, and I am going to meet you on Monday only. In case if I want to solve this is the solution, I will not discuss this solution tomorrow. Okay, I will make it Saturday. Is it okay? Silence means acceptance. I don't know.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm giving you too much time. You may even forget that you need to do, but it's okay. I expect you guys to be prompt. Okay. Actually, you can fix it today itself during the lab if you really work during the lab, but in case if you are not able to do it, so I don't want to take a plan. Okay. Now let me explain the problem. I want you to define a car class which has a str string method as well as hash method so that you can put the car object into a dictionary. But I'll tell you one more thing. I don't know whether any of you have tracked it. What all is happening? See, I said that you need to implement this function so that this object of your own class becomes hashable, so that you will be able to use it as a key in a dictionary or maybe as an element in a set. Okay, because if you want to add a key or if you want to add an element to a set, you need to be able to find the hash value of the elements that you are adding into, so that it can be traced, it can be searched through, or it can be added, it can be found, all that. Now I said that we have a integer, float, and string are all hashable, and all the objects which are immutable are hashable. Okay, so now if you want to create your own object and then you want that to be a key, it has to be hashable. So you need to implement a hash function, a special method, and then somehow find the hash value. You do what the Python is supposed to do for you. You do it, but you are using the hash function anyway, but use some attribute, okay, which is mutable, okay, sorry, immutable, and use that to find the hash value. As long as you implement it, this Python is happy to keep your car or any other object into the dictionary. That is, you are providing it the way of finding the hash. Now, if you are following the different versions of Python, we are currently using 3.88. Okay, this already has the support for, okay, adding our own object, user objects, okay, into the dictionary as a key. Okay, so even if you don't provide it, it will be able to find the hash value. Okay, I want you to try it out. Okay, in the 13C that we discussed yesterday, you comment off this implementation of hash inside and then you still call it, it will be allowing you to add it to the dictionary. So you, first of all, I have not even tried that, so you need to do that. Okay, add it into a dictionary, your own object, after implementing it, and then comment off that portion and then try to add it and then see whether it works. You will see that it works because we are using 3.88 version, but the earlier versions do not support it. Okay, I think they say that 3.88 only. So anyway, this is an information that I gave you because in case if you come across, I want you to verify all these things yourself instead of me bringing it out. I wanted you to find out and then tell me that how is it working. So anyway, you have a Google to find out the reason why it is working. So even then, I want you to implement the hash. Okay, maybe your code, maybe somebody will use it on earlier versions and it should still work. Okay, fine. Now you have to have two cars you have to create, and then where is it kept in your garage number 1 and 2, and then put a dictionary of garage where car 1 is in garage 1, car 2 is in garage 2, and then print the values. Okay, you normally for loop you do and then print it, and then use the same implementation of your class, maybe a copy, into another file like a problem 2, where you will add to the same class, you will add the iterable, making it iterable. Okay, you are going to add the methods underscore iter underscore next. Now, as I mentioned just now, there are 3 methods that we can use. So I am asking you to use all the methods one by one and then modify your code for your car class. Now we have the implementation for our what is that? I don't forget. Okay, some class we have, my class, I think. So that class you modify it so that you can implement the my car. Actually, my car it is. Okay, my car, and then fix the problem also in if you want to iterate it over multiple times. Now, apart from just iterating over for loop, I want you to use the comprehension also, like x for x in object. Okay, comprehension. So create a list using the comprehension. So you should be able to use your own iterable object inside the comprehension also, even many multiple times. Even then it should work. Okay, you have to fix the problem in our current implementation. So that's all is defined here. So implement my car class with the following object attributes: model, of course, some model name, year of manufacturing, company who manufactured it, and then a list of service centers. Okay, why did I maintain a list here? Because if you want to make it as an iterable object, I want to have some iterable object inside so that you can use it for iterating it over, and then so that you can see different service centers that my car can be taken to. So when you are making this class iterable, you are going to use this list, like data list what we used. I want you to use this list to iterate over. So you can add maybe 2 service centers. That's, I'll show you some sample data that I have given. So implementation should also include the following special methods, str and hash. This is for the problem 1 description. And then str should print the details of the car in a readable format. I will be showing you how it has to be printed. Hash should compute the hash value using the attributes, which are strings and integers. So I want you to implement a hash using the strings and integer. This is a string, here is a integer, and company name is a string. So you can use this to compute the hash. Create at least 3 car objects. Okay, 2 car objects also fine of your class, and print their details. Then implement a dictionary. Now, because you have implemented a hash, I wanted to implement a dictionary called garage dictionary, where it maintains which car is in which garage, and car object is the key, and the garage number is a value. I want you to get the garage number using the key. Here you are not going to use the iteratable, so they are not adding the iteration capability here, but you can just use the dictionary keys, get the keys, and then different keys, and then get the garage number. You can print it out. Print the garage numbers where your cars are parked by accessing the dictionary. Check if your hash implementation is commented off. Are you able to still successfully create the garage dictionary and go over the garage numbers? This is the answer I gave you already. You will be able to do it because you are using 3.88. If any one of you are using the earlier versions, maybe you will have a problem, but you can check it out. Okay, so this is the problem 1. And then expected input and output are, input is my car, Maruti Vitara 2021, and these are the garage names, and Hyundai Creta, these are the service centers. Then I am creating a garage, car 1 with the garage 1, and car 2, garage 2. Then print the details of the cars parked in my garage. The details of the cars parked in my garage are. So I go through the car in garage keys, I get the car object, and then I print garage number first, and the details of the car I print the car. So print car, when I use it, is you going to use the str special function, okay, which is going to output something. And this is just I am going through this dictionary to print these values 1 and 2, okay, one by one. So output will be like this: garage number 1, the details of the car in this garage are, I print the details. So I want your str function to print it like this, okay, all the values. You maintain this model, year, and company. Of course, service center also I want you to print it. str should print this also. You know that this is maintained like a list, okay. From this you can make out service centers are maintained as a list. That's all. I want you to just print this, make a dictionary, and use the dictionary to use the same code to access your class and then print it. Okay, that's all. Any doubts on this? I hope this is very straightforward implementation. Okay, now problem 2. Take the same class of a problem 1 implementation to problem 2 in another file. Use multiple iterations of the same object, including comprehension, and fix any issues in the implementation. Okay, I want you to, I'll show you the code like what I have done in my just now. Okay, now what all you have to do here? Take the implementation of problem 1 of my car, add the following features. What you need to do? Implement all the 3 ways of making your my car iterable. That means you have to make it iterable using all the method 1, method 2, method 3. Method 1 is add index, and then use this method, and then stop iteration, you will be raising an exception. And then method 2 is you are using the next of iter object you are using. Okay, now you will be using the service center iterator, and then use the iter next. It is same as whatever we have implemented yesterday. Method 3 is only use the iter, not even next underscore next. Use the yield inside the iter, and fix the issue if whatever you have seen. So with all the three implementations, construct two cars and iterate over the car objects to list the service centers available for both the cars. So you need to iterate over the, because you have the iterable object, you have made it. So I want you to iterate over and then print the service center now. So you will not be using the dictionary keys or anything. You will be iterating it directly. Maybe you will construct the dictionary, but you will not be using the keys method. You will be using for, in, and the object, car object, and then you will be doing it. Okay. I'll leave it to you how you want to do that. The similar way what we did yesterday. I'll show you the code also. So use both for loop and comprehension to construct the list of service centers. I want you to print out the list of service centers and fix any problem that you encounter, because you have to use the for loop as well as the comprehension. When you try to use one more for loop or a comprehension, you are likely to face the same problem. Okay, it doesn't matter whether you are using a comprehension after the for loop or two for loops. If you call it again, like what I showed you, the problem is going to creep in. So I want you to fix it and then make it work. Now I'll give you the sample code. This is my car creation. Okay, I do a garage creation, then I print the details of the car. This will be using the str, and then I want to print out 1 something, 2 something, so I am using the I, and then I'm doing all this so that I print the way I want it. I say print serves center. Okay, where is it created? Let me see. Service center object. Did I miss anything? Yeah, here. So when I iterate over, I am going to get the service center, okay, of the car. This is the one what I am going to get. I am going to print it. That means it is going to give me the service center details which is there. Okay, now let us see the output, then you will understand what I am saying. It is going to print this service center. Okay, where is it? This is a printout. Okay, this is the code. Sorry, it's not output, it is again the code. Output is next, so I am getting confused. Okay, so this is the actual code. Okay, complete code. You what I am doing is I am trying to print the service center here, and then I am calling the car details, then printing the service center here, and then I am using the again printing the service center here using the comprehension. Okay, here comprehension. I am using the comprehension method of the iter object svsend for svsend from car1, then whatever the service center I got, I am printing it here. Okay, so I'm creating the list of service centers for both the cars. Okay, so let me show you the output, then you may understand. These are the output I want. It will print the details of the cars. It will print service centers 1 by 1. You know, this is what I showed you, 1, and then the service center values, then other cars service centers. Then comprehension also constructs a list like this and prints the list. Okay, now looking at this output, you will know what I am what this code is giving you. Okay, where is it? Yeah, this code is giving you that output. Okay, this entire code is giving the output. I wanted to implement the car class for using method 1. Using this whole thing printout is coming for method 1, which is mentioned here. Okay, method 1. Now same thing you do it for method 2. Okay, same code, copy paste same code, use it for method 2. It should work. Only thing is you are changing the class implementation only. The rest of the code should work as it is, but it is going to use the new class to create the objects. So this car1 and car2 are now going to be created using the new class, implemented using method 2, and then it should also print the same thing like what it was earlier. Okay, it should not give any issues, no exception, stop iteration exception or empty list, nothing should come. It should all print properly all these values. Any number of time you call, either comprehension or in the for loop, it should work. Okay, so now method 3, again do the same thing using method 3. For all your method implementations should be perfect to get all the output. But in case you are not able to fix that issue, okay, and whenever you are calling second time it is giving problem, it's okay. At least please make a mention somewhere. I'll anyway go through the code, but you can also, if I hear from you, it will be good. Or if you have tried something, comment it off and tell me what you have issues. We will discuss it on Monday once you submit it on by Saturday. Okay, fine. That's what I have today.